All right, everyone, welcome to the 187th District Court. It's Friday. Let's keep it a Friday. Let's not try to turn it into a Monday. These are the rules of the 187th District Court. You are in a courtroom. Anything that you could not do if you were in the courtroom, you cannot do on this Zoom screen. To all the inmates, I see you're wearing a mask. If you're going to wear a mask, you need to wear it appropriately. I'm not a medical doctor, but I do know if you're wearing a mask, it needs to be covering your nose and your mouth. To all the inmates, you're not allowed to use the chat box. You're not allowed to use the internet. You're not allowed to use Facebook. If you do any of these things, you will be sent back to your cell. As you know, they are shorthanded, so we will see you in 30 to 60 days. To everyone else on this Zoom screen, you're not allowed to pick up dates. This is not the Bachelorette. This is not the Bachelor. This is not time for you to have family reunions. That is not allowed. If you do any of these things, your Zoom privileges will be revoked. If you're an inmate, again, you will be sent back to your cell. To all of you who are at your offices or at your home, you are not allowed to be doing laundry, laying in bed, taking care of children, feeding the pets. If you couldn't do it if you were physically in the courtroom, you can't do it on the Zoom screen. If you do not abide by these rules, your Zoom privileges will be revoked and your Friday will turn into a Monday, because whether you are out of county, out of state, out of country, you're going to be required to appear in person in the 187 District Court. It's located at 300 De La Rosa. You're going to have to get an Uber or Lyft. And if you decide to take a Via, you're going to have to find change. And if you decide to drive, you're going to find a bunch of construction work, a bunch of one-ways. And if you are able to find parking, you're going to find that parking is relatively expensive. To all of the defendants and those who are accused or charged with offenses, you are not allowed to make your screen black. Your video must be shown. If your video is not shown, no matter what the reason for it, your Zoom privileges will be revoked and you will be required to appear in person in court. I'm going to open breakout rooms. When I open breakout rooms, it's going to invite everyone to go to a breakout room. Do not, I repeat, do not go to a breakout room unless I specifically call you by name and assign you to a breakout room. For all the attorneys, if you have an plea bargain agreement, no matter how small that agreement is, you need to put it in the chat box. The person you're going to put that in the chat box to is going to be listed as Ferguson Court Coordinator. Do not email her, do not chat her, do not call her asking for a continuance. I'm the only person who can give you a continuance. To all the inmates and those who are accused, you will hear your attorney's name called. Your name will not be called. I repeat, your name will not be called. If you do not hear your attorney's name, it's because they're Zooming in another courtroom or they had to appear in person. So everyone, put some patience in your pocket. Let's keep this as a Friday and let's not turn it to a Monday. For all the defense attorneys, I'm going to call your name. This is the order in which you will appear. Michael Latimer, Tim Molina, Areli Bustamante, Scott Hill, Adam Cardenas, Matthew Finch, Roberto Ramirez, and Rick Ramos Jr. Did I miss any attorneys' names? All right, attorneys, when I call your name, I'm going to need to know whether or not your client is criminal trial division or family violence. I'll need to know your client's name. If you are able to add to your screen name the name of your client and whether or not it's criminal trial division or family violence, that would be greatly appreciated and it will make things move quickly. Roberto Ramirez, I see you put down your client's name, but if you could add whether or not it's CTV or family violence, FV, that would be greatly appreciated. To all the defendants and those who are accused, your attorney is probably going to want to speak to state before they speak to you. So if you are not asked to go to a breakout room, it's because no one is requesting you to go to a breakout room. So please do not raise your hand and say, am I supposed to go to that breakout room? Because if you are, I will state your name and I will assign you to a breakout room. To all the inmates, you are not excused from this Zoom until I excuse you. So if you speak with your attorney, don't you dare tell the deputy at the jail, I'm done today, because you're not done until I excuse you. If you do that, what's going to end up happening, they're going to take you back. And again, they're shorthanded. We'll see you in 30 to 60 days. All right, the first attorney is Michael Latimer. Who do you have?
Good morning, Your Honor. It's Leo Hernandez. It's a criminal trial division. We're here on a status from last week. The agreement was, or the proposal was that the felony would be dismissed in consideration of a plea on a case out of county court. And I reached out to the county court prosecutors 3 times since last week. The last one was yesterday, and I finally got a response from Ellie Fassier, and she emailed me yesterday saying that she would reach out to the felony prosecutors. And that's all I've heard.
Well, let me ask you this. Which court is this out of?
Well, I don't have the file. I believe it's in county court, either 7 or 15. I can find that out quite easily.
All right, who's the judge of that court? Who's the judge in 7, please?
That's Michael DeLeon, Your Honor.
Yes, it's county court 7. Yes.
Ms. Ferguson, can you contact county court number 7 and see if they can take a plea today, please?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll see about taking care of that case today.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Tim Molina, thank you for changing your name. I'll send you to breakout room number 3.
Well, Judge, can I approach just real quickly on the matter?
Yes.
I'm here on a motion to dismiss for lack of speedy trial that I filed. The prosecutors have changed since I filed it, and I had a very productive talk with Caitlin Wilkes about 2 days ago, and she's going to look into some things, and there may be a way for us to resolve this in a very beneficial way to my client. So I was going to see if I could get my motion recalled for a week or 2 for them to reach out to the complainants and see if there's some way we can just wrap it up.
And Judge, we actually, we spoke to them, and so we know kind of where they're at. So I can confer with Mr. Molina and let him know where we are at, and maybe we can even resolve this today.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
then what I'll do is I'll send you to breakout room number 3.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Areli Bustamante. Just give us a moment. We'll come back to your matter. Scott Hill, thank you for changing your name. I'll see you to breakout room number 4.
Good morning, Judge. Is that Marcus by chance?
Do you need Marcus Sanders?
Yeah, that's who I've been conferring with, Judge. It might save us a little time.
All right, if you'll go there, he will meet you there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Adam Cardenas.
Morning, Judge. First setting, but I would like to confer with the state.
All right, I'll send you to breakout room number 5.
Thank you.
Matthew Finch. Thank you for changing your name. I'll send you to number 6.
Yes, Judge.
Roberto Ramirez. Thank you for changing your name. I'll send you to 7.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Rick Ramos.
Good morning, Judge. I'm actually waiting on Christian Newman to get here, but in the meantime, can I go into a breakout room with my client so I can go over a document that we need to sign before the case gets dismissed, Judge?
All right, I'll send you to breakout room number 7. And who's your client? Rojas?
Rojas, yes, 16B.
All right, Mr. Rojas, if you go to number 7, I'm sorry, number 8.
Entra el cuarto, Eduardo, okay? Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, everyone, just give me a moment. And Mr. Latimer, we're going to see what's happening with your client.
Judge, I'm going to put something in the chat.
All right, thank you. All right, on Michael Latimer. I'm being told that they will place your client on the docket for Monday and you'll receive a link.
And Judge,
Monday morning? Okay,
it'll be at 11:30. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
All right, 11:30
okay,
on
Monday,
Monday.
County Court 7, 11:30, Monday.
Yes. And
Zoom.
so we're going to recall this the afternoon of Monday to make sure that that's done.
Yeah, hold on. 11, okay. So
right.
11:30, County Court 7, to be in County Court 7 or Zoom? Do we know that?
They do Zoom,
Okay, all
but
right.
if
very
I were
good.
you, I'd contact the court coordinator to
Yeah,
make sure.
all right, and I'll do then 1:30 in your court. Okay,
Yes.
all right, very good. Have a good weekend. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you. You and your client are excused.
All right, thank you.
And to the clerks, I do not have the file on Leo Hernandez.
Let me look for a judge real quick.
All right, everyone, just give me a moment, please. All right. Ms. Wilkes, what is happening with Tim Molina's case?
I was attempting to put his client in a breakout room with him because we've conveyed an offer, but I don't see him.
Norma, can you see what the ETA on Cavallari is, please?
Okay, meanwhile, Your Honor, I'll just tell Tim that we don't see him and he can come back into the main room if that's okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
All right. And then Ms. Bustamante and Ms. Wilkes, if I can see you both in breakout room number 1, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
You're welcome. And everyone, just give me a moment. And Tim Molina, we will have your client here shortly.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Fabian Rocha. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. And Mr. Newman, who's the attorney waiting for Christian Newman?
It should be Rick Ramos, who I think is in a breakout room with Eduardo Mejia, if he told me correctly.
No, it's Rojas.
Rojas Mejia, okay.
Yes, so they're still in the breakout room. As soon as they're done, I'll send you there.
And I can tell you, Judge, we're going to dispose of the cases today.
Okay.
We filed an agreed motion to forfeit property. There were a number of devices seized in this case that Mr. Rojas is going to forfeit to law enforcement. Separate and apart from that, based on our investigation, we're going to dispose of all 3 of his cases this morning. But I wanted to get that motion to forfeit signed first.
All right, thank you. He informed me that that's what he would be in that room doing. Does he already have the motions?
Yes, and it looks like the defendant has signed it, so it should have made its way to your inbox. It's under Eduardo Mejia.
Okay. Let me check my email. All right, I do have that motion and I'm signing it now. Is it just one motion?
One motion, just in the one case, identifying all the property. All 3 cases will be closed out.
Okay, well, the court has signed that motion.
Very good. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. And Mr. Newman, so you're sending those dismissals to the court?
I'll do that right now.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ramos,
Yes, Judge.
the court has signed the, acknowledge the surrender of the property.
Yes, sir.
And so Mr. Newman has told me that he's forwarding the dismissals to me.
Excellent.
Tim, your client's here, so I'm going to send you to a breakout room with him.
Your Honor, does that mean myself and my client can be excused?
Just give me one moment. Let me make sure I get the dismissals.
Okay, we'll hang out. Thank you, Judge.
Sure. I know Mr. Newman will get them to me, but I don't like for things to hang out there.
Understood, Your Honor.
Tim Molina, your client is here.
Okay,
All right, so what I'm going to do, Mr. Cavalieri, he's not seated in his seat yet. Just hang on one moment, Mr. Molina.
I've assigned him to room 3 where Tim is currently. That's his room, if that's okay with the court. So I guess when he gets to the computer, he can.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Ramos, the court has those documents and I'm signing them now, so you are excused. Norma, can you let them know that Mr. Rojas can go back?
Eduardo, ya terminaste, ok. Ya te puedes ir ahorita que te avisen y ya terminamos, ok. Que te vaya bien.
And Norma, he is 16B.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Gracias.
Gracias. That's all I know. I'm working on my Spanish, everyone.
Your Honor, all three motions to dismiss have been filed with the court.
Okay, I'm just signing the last one.
All right. Thank you for your time, Your Honor. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Have a great Friday and a great rest of the week.
You too. Have a great weekend.
All right, thank you. All right, if everyone will give me a moment, please.
Hey, Tim, he's in there now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, everyone, the court is back. Ms. Bustamante?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Rocha would like to continue representation.
All right, then we're going to have to place some things on the record.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, could I obtain an email for Ms. Bustamante so that I can send the state's, I guess, exhibit or partial exhibit for purposes of this hearing only?
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Bustamante, if you can put your email address in the chat box too. Ms. Wilkes, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so, Ms. Bustamante, are you continuing? I know you said that Mr. Rocha wishes for you to continue with representation, but are you going to continue with representation? And are you going to be representing him in both causes?
Yes, Your Honor. I had put in a motion to withdraw as counsel previously, but that was due to some health matters I was having. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to be out in time, but I would like to withdraw the motion to withdraw, I suppose.
All right, just give us a moment, please.
Thank you.
Just send it, Your Honor. So it should be sent to yourself, Brenna, and to defense.
Okay. Well, no, it not Brenna. Brenna is not here today. So the court reporter is Genevieve Garcia.
Oh, my
Right.
apologies.
No problem. Ms. Garcia, could you put your email address in the chat box to Caitlin Wilkes, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, by the way.
Good morning. All right, Adam Cardenas, you're back.
Good morning, Judge. We've got
Good
a
morning.
terrific deal. My client accepts it. So we get, I was confirmed with Meredith, so we get the ball rolling.
Yes, if you will put that in the chat box, the
Tomorrow.
agreement to Ms. Ferguson,
Okay.
and we'll get that paperwork done.
Thank you, Judge.
And if I can also get your email, if you want to put that in the chat to me.
Oh, okay, sure.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, and then we're going to take up the hearing on Rocha. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor, it's
Oh, no,
it's
just one moment. I have to set us up. No problem.
Thank you.
And to the clerks, could I have the motion to withdraw the motion filed by Ms. Bustamante on Fabian Rocha, please?
Yes, Judge, let me pull.
And Ms. Bustamante, you did file the motion to withdraw the motion? Ms. Bustamante, did you file a motion to withdraw the motion to withdraw as attorney?
No, ma'am, I have not.
Is your client aware of the motion you filed to withdraw as attorney of record?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
If she withdraws orally, is there going to be any objection from the state, or are you asking that she filed a written motion to withdraw?
I'm fine with a motion on the record oral.
All right, the court is calling 2019 CR 13340, State of Texas versus Fabian Rocha. Can I have the parties announced for the record for the state?
Caitlin Wilkes for the state.
For the defense?
Arely Bustamante for Mr.
And are
Rocha.
you Fabian Rocha?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Rocha, do you have any objection to this hearing taking place by video?
No, Your Honor.
Right. Then the first issue is that the defense filed a motion on September 9th asking to withdraw as counsel for Mr. Rocha. State, are you ready to proceed on that motion?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, are you ready to proceed on that motion?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, defense, it's your motion. You filed a motion to withdraw as attorney of record for Mr. Rocha.
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to, I guess orally withdraw that motion to withdraw as counsel.
All right, any objections to defense counsel withdrawing her motion to withdraw as attorney for Mr. Rocha?
The attorney has the right to represent who she wants to, so the state has no right to object.
All right, then the next issue is we are here on a motion to modify bond conditions for Fabia Rocha that's been filed by defense counsel. But before we move to that motion, the court was informed that Ms. Bustamante is a complainant against Mr. Rocha in a felony case. And the court was informed of that by the state. And Ms. Bustamante was present when the court was informed of that. So the issues will need to be addressed and put on the record what Mr. Rocha knows, of course. The facts of the case, for purposes of this hearing, I'm assuming Mr. Rocha will not be asked questions for the facts of the case, but Mr. Rocha, are you, sorry. Mr. Rocha, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you raise your hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. The court has been informed that your attorney, Ms. Arely Bustamante, is listed as a complainant in a felony case where you are listed as the defendant. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
And have you retained Ms. Bustamante as your attorney?
Yes.
And are you going to retain Ms. Bustamante in both of those cases as your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that a conflict is inherent in that case where Ms. Bustamante is listed as a complainant?
I do.
And knowing that, do you still wish to have Ms. Bustamante represent you as your attorney in this case, which is 2019 CR 13340, and in the sealed case that's going to be filed by the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand that because Ms. Bustamante is a complainant in the sealed case, that there is an inherent conflict in this instant case called 2019 CR 13340, wherein you're charged with injury to a child?
Yes.
Do you understand the possible conflicts of interest that will result from Ms. Bustamante representing you in each of these cause numbers?
Yes.
Have you discussed with Ms. Bustamante the conflict that will exist and does exist with her representing you as an attorney in each of these cases?
Do I discuss the conflict? No, ma'am.
All right, we're going to take a recess. And Ms. Bustamante, I'll give you a chance to speak with your client in a breakout room.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so I'm going to send you both to breakout room number 2.
Thank you.
And if everyone will give us a moment, please. Ms. Compton, just give me one moment, please.
No problem, Judge. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Bustamante, I didn't see where you and Mr. Rocha went to a breakout room.
Oh, we did. We went to breakout room number 2 and we've completed. Thing.
Okay. All right, is the court reporter here, and Ms. Wilkes, please?
I'm here, Your Honor.
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, so we are back on the record. Mr. Rocha, could you unmute yourself for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
So did you have a chance to discuss with your attorney the inherent conflicts and your attorney representing you on a case where your attorney is the actual victim or complainant on the case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. And do you realize that you have a right to obtain other counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you realize if you cannot afford an attorney and you qualify for a court-appointed attorney, attorney will be appointed to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
So knowing these things, do you still wish to go forward with Ms. Bustamante representing you in cause number 2019 CR 13340 and also in the sealed case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. And do you understand if a motion to revoke were ever filed against you in 2019 CR 13340, that there's a possibility that the sealed case could be presented in punishment?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did your attorney discuss all these things with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Bustamante.
Now we're on the modify, correct?
Well, no,
Or-
well, on the,
are we-
Ms. Bustamante, have you explained to your client the inherent conflict that exists with you representing him on a sealed case where you're listed as the complainant in that case?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
And based upon the conversation that the court had with Ms. Bustamante and Ms. Wilkes in the breakout room, that sealed case is a burglary of a habitation with intent to commit assault involving a weapon. The court, of course, does not take any of this as true. The court only knows what the charges are. So, Ms. Bustamante, you're still telling the court that you believe it is prudent for you to continue with your representation of Mr. Rocha, even though you are the complainant in that case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything from the state?
Your Honor, the state just would like to offer states 1 into evidence for purposes of this hearing only that demonstrates the relationship as far as the at-large case goes between the defendant and defense counsel.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Then state's exhibit number 1 is admitted, and the court will review state's exhibit number 1. And Mr. Rocha,
Yes.
have you had a chance to review state's exhibit number 1?
No.
All right, Ms. Bustamante, the court has accepted state's exhibit number 1 into evidence for this purpose of this hearing only without objection. I will send you to a breakout room so that you can show that document to your client.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, and let me see what breakout room is available. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Ms. Compton.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Thank you for changing your name for me. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 8.
Thank you.
Tim Molina.
Hi, Judge. If I could confer again with Caitlin, but I know she's in the hearing, so it won't take long to confer, but I can.
Sure. I'll send you to breakout room number 9. Caitlin, if you could go to breakout room number 9, please. And everyone, just give me a moment. All right, Matthew Finch.
Judge, I've been in a breakout room for almost an hour and not talked to anybody. I was just checking in.
What? You've been in there for an hour and not talked to anybody?
No, Judge.
And it's on a Friday too?
Yes, Judge. I was doing other
Okay.
things here at my desk, but and I do see Mr. Ramirez on the clock. I just kind of like to figure out what's going on. I know there's some bond issues or.
All right. So could someone go to number 6 for Mr. Finch? It's Joseph Ramirez. It's Criminal Trial Division. And Tim Molina, what is happening with your client, Calaveri?
I think we've reached an agreement on a plea agreement, and the paperwork's all in the works. I don't know how easy it's going to be to accomplish, but I'll certainly make my best efforts.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3. And if you need help with the deputy helping him to navigate the system, just let Miss Ferguson know and she'll get a deputy there to help him.
And would I have the ability to screen share?
Yes.
Okay.
And you know what? Let me sometimes it doesn't work, but let me make you a co-host.
I'll try it first because last time somebody did that, I canceled out the entire Zoom and broke every breakout room.
Yes, you did.
So.
All right. So I sent you there.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Adam Cardenas.
Yes, Judge, I'm just waiting for paperwork.
All right. Thank you. And then Bustamante, I think they may still be in a breakout room. Yes.
And Judge, can I see you in a breakout room?
Yes. Breakout room number 9, please. All right, and are we back on Miss Tarocha?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. If I could have the court reporter, please.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, we are back. Mr. Rocha, if you could find a stable location, please. All right, Mr. Rocha, where are you located?
Currently, I'm at my employer's location at the office.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm at my employer's office.
Okay. So we're back on the record. And Ms. Bustamante, did you have a chance to review State's Exhibit 1 with your client, Mr. Rocha?
Yes, Your Honor. We reviewed it.
All right, and Mr. Rocha, are you still requesting that Ms. Bustamante be allowed to represent you?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have ample time to review State's Exhibit number 1 with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anything from the state?
Your Honor, just that the court would take that in consideration for this purposes of this hearing only, and that the defense attorney / complainant understands that privilege between attorney-client may not extend to any questions that the state might ask her in the case in which she is a complainant or witness, and that the record would reflect that admonishment. And that's all from the state, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Rocha, are you aware that Ms. Bustamante, if the state goes forward, or if you're indicted on the sealed case, that Ms. Bustamante would be the complainant in that case and would likely be called as a witness, subpoenaed to appear as a witness and give testimony? Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand that there's a potential that any attorney-client privilege may not exist if
Yes,
she
Your Honor.
is called as a witness and subpoenaed as a witness in a case where you are the defendant? Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
So knowing all this and having discussed things with your attorney, do you wish to keep Ms. Bustamante as your attorney in both of these cause numbers?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Bustamante, knowing of the inherent conflict that exists in each of these cause numbers, and the court is going to find that there's an inherent conflict when the attorney is the complainant in a case wherein the defendant that you represent is the defendant. Knowing that there is an inherent conflict, do you wish to continue with your representation of Mr. Rocha in each cause?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Then with that being said, the court, if there's nothing else from either side, the court is going to recall this case for Ms. Ferguson. What is a light date for us, please?
I can do Monday or Wednesday, Judge.
All right, the court then will recall this on Monday, the 11th, and the court will make a decision on Ms. Bustamante's continued representation of Mr. Rocha. And that will be at 9 a.m. Mr. Rocha, the court is going to review State's Exhibit number 1 that was admitted to evidence. The court has heard all testimony, and the court will make a decision on Ms. Bustamante's continued representation of you in each of these cause numbers. So we will come back on October 11th, and if Ms. Bustamante continues with representation, then the court at that time will make a ruling on your motion for modification of bond conditions. Is there anything else from either side before we close the record? State?
Your Honor, I just would like the record to reflect that the name in the report that is State's Exhibit 1 has the last name of Silver, and that is also the last name of Miss Bustamante is her previous married name.
Is that correct, Ms. Bustamante?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. And just so the record is clear, Ms. Bustamante, you are the person who's listed as the complainant in State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
All right, then with that, we'll close the record. The court will give you all its ruling on Monday. So everyone is to be back by Zoom on Monday at 9 a.m. If there's
Thank
nothing
you.
else, the record is closed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. And everyone, just give me a moment. All right, Ms. Garcia, may I see you in breakout room 1 briefly, please? Everyone, just give me a moment. All right, Matthew Finch, did you have a chance with anyone?
I did, Your Honor. I conferred with Meredith and then also with Tom. Your Honor, these are affidavits of surety to surrender on cases that appear to be for some prior bonds. We recently had some hearing motions to set bond on this case, and it doesn't. And my client has not, from what we can tell, has not made bond on any new cases. So I don't think that this is a
Well, the reason why I wanted it brought here is because I wanted to know if there were any conditions that anyone was requesting other than the reinstatement of the bond.
Oh, okay, Your Honor. Well, I am not requesting any additional conditions of bond.
State? Who is the, because he has a assault family second, so the court needs to know if there are any no contact orders that are in place for that case. The forgery of the commercial instrument, is there a no contact order for that? So does anyone have information on that? It's Joseph Anthony Ramirez.
Yeah, Judge, it looks like on the assault, there was a no contact in order from Judge Brown originally with an Oscar Arnaldo Gonzalez Jr.
Okay.
As well as a no firearms condition.
Okay, and then is there a no contact order on the forgery of a commercial instrument?
I mean, basically all those cases is allegedly taking people's banking information, forging IDs and doing bogus checks. So I don't think he actually has contact with them. They just kind of poach their mail and things like that. So I would have to go through and pull each one of these police reports and get you a very long list of names of all the people's stuff that got poached. But I don't think that would require no contact with those people because there wasn't contact to begin with.
All right, so the court will then sign the motions to reinstate bond. Defense, have you, and not really reinstate the bond, it's the court is signing the motion because the bondsman is requesting to be allowed back on his bonds and recalling the affidavit to surrender surety. And he's requesting to restore his bond. So defense, have you had all of this discovery in each of these cases?
Your Honor, I have had an opportunity to look at most of the discovery on these cases. There's a bunch of them. And I'll continue to follow up and make sure that I have everything.
All right, Norma, on Joseph Ramirez, could I have a 30-day reset, please?
Yes, ma'am. It's in the chat, Judge.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to be back on November 12th. And if you don't have anything else with us, you are excused.
Your Honor, since my client is here, might I be put in a breakout room with him just to visit?
Yes, and if you could have him come back to the main room after you've spoken with him, please.
I will, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ramirez, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. And Mr. Finch, I'll send you to 2.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, Ernest Acevedo, who do you have?
Morning, Judge. I'm here on Fernando Toro. I have been conferring with David Martin, and I think we have an agreement for a pretrial diversion.
All right, I'm going to send you to a breakout room, and if you all can let me know if that is the case. I'm going to send you to number 1. David Martin is no longer here.
Well, right, no, but he kept this case, Judge. That's why, I mean, he's the one I've been texting with this morning, and so he's the one who supposedly has the agreement.
Okay, just give us a moment. Mr. DeWalt, who do you have?
Thank you, Your Honor. Sorry, I was texting you right now or chatting you. I have Dante Williams. You had a recall for me this morning. I've exhausted all 7 phone numbers I have and have not gotten a hold of them.
Okay. All right, is there a prosecutor available to take this case?
I've been talking with Michelle Hayden on this case.
All right, the court is going to call 2019 CR 3952, State of Texas versus Dejuanta Williams. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Michelle Hayden for the state.
For the
Eric
defense?
DeWalt. Eric DeWalt, I represent Mr. Williams.
All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
This case was originally set on October 7th. The defendant was a no-show at 9 a.m. The court then recalled it at 11 a.m. The defendant was still a no-show. The court recalled it for today, October 8th, to give defense counsel an opportunity to have his client present himself. The defendant has not appeared on the Zoom. To the deputies in the courtroom, is there a Dejuanta, Eon, Maliki, Williams in the courtroom?
No, Judge, he has not.
Defense, have you had any contact with your client?
Your Honor, I've exhausted all the phone numbers and resources that I have. I have not.
State?
Your Honor, we haven't had any contact or we don't have any updates on the location of the defendant.
All right, is the state making a request?
Yes, we would ask that a warrant be issued for the defendant.
All right, that'll be granted. Your client will be remanded without bond. If you're able to get in touch with your client and he presents himself, the court, of course, will reconsider.
I'll continue to look. May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your consideration.
You're welcome. All right, Ernest Acevedo on Toro. So you're saying it is a pretrial diversion?
It is, David says he has the agreement and I'm asking him to email it to me, but I was gonna ask if we could like reset the case so I can get the paperwork turned in. Once it's turned in, apparently gonna get handled like a regular PTD.
All right, Norma, can I have a pretrial diversion date on Toro, please?
Yeah.
November 12th.
That date works for me, Judge.
All right, you and your client are excused.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your Honor,
Yes.
as myself and Miss Alvarado were here for that matter, and it's not going to be resolved without the Veterans Court, may both of us be excused.
Yes, I had no idea you all were here for that matter. You guys are both excused. Thank you for your patience.
We aim to be obedient, Your Honor.
Okay. Have a great rest of your week.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Judge,
All
I delivered Mr. Ramirez back. May I be excused?
Yes. Norma, can you let them know L12 can go back?
Yes, ma'am.
And Norma, I'm going to put something in the chat to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And everyone, Kathy Compton is in breakout room number 8 on Tavon, Washington. It's criminal trial division. All right, and then Roberto Ramirez on Calderon.
Your Honor, we would ask for a reset on the case. We just got notice of the case yesterday, shortly after his indictment, and I had planned to go over, show him some of the more of the discovery, and I want to make certain of the discovery. And we do have an offer from the state, and we just need a little bit more time.
All right, so is this your client here that's listed as Corderoa?
Calderon, Your Honor. Cerna he should be Cerna Calderon.
Could you unmute? Are you Cerna Calderon? Just hold down the space bar. It's the longest key on the keyboard.
Oh, excuse me, Your Honor. He speaks Spanish.
Is this person who's on the screen, let me spotlight him. Is this your client?
No, Your Honor, that's Cordero.
All right, I do not see your client on the screen at all.
Oh, he must still be in breakout room 7, Your Honor.
Ah,
I can go in there and get him and tell him to come
yes,
out.
if you could have him come back to the main room, please.
I will, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Tony Jimenez, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. All right, and Tony Jimenez is in number 2. He has a family violence case. Bonifacio Hinojosa.
Your Honor, he's in now.
All right, thank you. Norma, can you let them know on Cerna? Can we get a 30-day reset, please?
Yes, ma'am. I think. Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to send it, Judge. Give me 1 second.
All right, November 12th. And 16C can go back.
Thank
Yes,
you, Your
ma'am.
Honor. That being all, may I be excused?
Yes,
Thank you, Your Honor.
you're welcome. Thank you. Are the parties ready on Zimmerly?
We are, Judge.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, thank you.
You have to wait. It's all on him or her. You have a female or male attorney? No. Yeah, you have to wait on him. Okay?
All right, is the court reporter available? Thank you.
I can refuse though, right? I can refuse.
You can't refuse court. You can't refuse court.
Yeah, because I don't know, I'm gonna see, I'm gonna wait a little bit.
You're what?
I'm gonna wait a little.
I don't know why this is acting this way today. All right, the court is going to call 2021 CR 8728A, State of Texas versus Joshua Zimmerly. Can I have the parties announced for the record for the state?
Meredith McIntyre for the state.
For the defense?
Dinos for the defense, Judge.
And are you Mr. Zimmerly?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objection from the defense?
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Zimmerly, I'm showing you a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case? And did you review that discovery with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Zimmerly, I'm going to show you a document entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
The state waives the habitual enhancement paragraph.
Any objection?
No objections, Judge.
Mr. Zimmerly, I'm going to show you a document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you understand what you're charged with is possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 gram to 4 grams. That's a 3rd-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
No, ma'am.
No, did you?
I didn't.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask it again, and I'll break it up a little bit. Did you intend to give up those rights?
No, ma'am. But yes, I did agree upon it. Yes, ma'am.
No. So here's my question. We're going to do it this way. Do you realize you have a right to jury trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you realize by entering this plea bargain agreement, you're giving up that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to give up that right and enter into a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you realize you have a right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you're giving up that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to give up that right and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you realize you have a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you're giving up that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to give up that right and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Zimmerly, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is requesting that your sentence be assessed at 3 years in the prison and that there be a $1,500 fine. And there are no applications for community supervision or deferred adjudication. And they will take in consideration JN number 2024904. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement, Mr. Zimmerly?
Yes, ma'am.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Sorry about that. Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the offense is charged in the indictment. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea.
State offers State's Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
Any objections?
No objections.
Mr. Zimmerly, I'm going to show you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial? Right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Other than I'm requesting, Your Honor, that the court go along with the plea bargain.
All right, the court will follow your agreement, sentence you to 3 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's a $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent. Take in consideration JN 2024904. Next, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And also because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, with that, we will close the record. Mr. Zimmerly, how old are you?
30.
All right, it looks like you had to think about that. I know 29 is, am I still 29? Am I 30? Here's the thing. You were listed as a habitual.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? You're getting to that point in your life where you're going to end up having more of your life behind you than in front of you. I'm already at the point where more of my life is behind me than in front of me. You're going to have to start making decisions. Either you want to continue on the way you're going, which you're not doing it very well because you were listed as a habitual, or either you want to change your life. If you continue on the path that you're going, one or two things are going to end up happening. Either you're going to end up being killed or dead, or either you're going to end up spending the remainder of your time in and out of prisons and jails. Don't be that person when a new person comes in and somebody wants to know how this system works, and they say, ask Grandpa Zimmerly. And then they're like, who's that? And they're like, oh, it's Joshua. Don't be that person, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So the tattoos on the neck, was that painful?
Not so much. Not as bad as you think it would be.
Yeah, what is bad though?
On a scale of 1 to 10, it was only like a 6 for me. I mean, it's my daughter's name, so the pain was worth it.
Okay, so do you need that to remember your daughter's name? I mean, you don't have that in your memory banks for name?
No, but as you said, I don't want to be that person. Well, even though I'm here right now, I've had a lot of bumps in my road, and I haven't seen my daughter since she was 3 years old. She's 11 years old now.
See, and that's the thing, Mr. Zimmerly. I've done a lot of child protective services cases. One thing that's not good for children is for parents who come into their life, say, I'm going to be the best father, I'm going to be the best mom. And then the next thing you know, they go back to prison, they're disappearing. Because each time you do that, you break your child's heart a little bit more each time. Till the next thing you know, they don't trust you and they don't trust people. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do better, Mr. Zimmerly.
Thank you very much, ma'am. You have a blessed day.
Oh, thank you. You have a blessed day too. Norma, can you let them know that 16F can go back?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Cardenas, you are excused.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Tilden Schaefer,
Morning,
you are
Judge.
here on Cordero.
Yes, Your Honor. So Meredith is working on paperwork. We should have a plea hopefully soon for you.
All right, and is your client a Spanish speaker or no?
No, he's not. He speaks English.
Okay. Tony Jimenez on Beneficio.
Yes, Benefacio.
Benefacio. I got
Yeah.
it right the first time.
We've conferred, Your Honor, and there may be a resolution in the next 30 days. We just have to exchange some information
All right, who are you conferring with?
with Ms. Wilkes.
Okay. So do you have all the discovery?
I can't answer that totally in the affirmative because I'm still looking at some information since this is a case that originated way back in 2018, and so we're still in that process, Judge.
All right. Norma, can I have a 30-day reset on Mr. Hinojosa, please?
It's in the chat.
And it's going to be November 12th. And Norma, was Mr. Hinojosa brought out?
He should have been, Judge.
Let me see if he is anywhere on our screen.
I know he's a Spanish speaker.
No, he's not here on the screen. Mr. Jimenez, do you want your client brought out, or are you going to visit him at a different time off docket?
I'm going to visit him at a different time, Your Honor.
All right, Norma, if they haven't brought him down, which he's not on the screen, so I don't believe they have, can you counsel him and we'll recall it back for November 12th?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jimenez.
you,
Have a
Judge.
great rest of your week.
You too. Take care.
All righty. Kathy Compton, Mr. Washington.
Good morning, Judge, again. I have conferred with Marcus, and I have also spoken to my client. I believe that Marcus and I feel like we could come back in a couple of weeks and possibly have a resolution. So this is the first time that we're here, so we're working fast, but.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate that. Do you want it recalled for the end of the month, or you want it to be recalled probably in the first week of November?
The sooner the better. So I'll take the end of the month rather than November.
All right, Norma, could you give me a date for that last week in October, please?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, it can be either October 25th or October 27th, Ms. Compton.
The 25th, please, Your Honor.
All right, we will see you back on October 25th. Mr. Washington, can you unmute for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Washington, we're going to bring you back on October 25th, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience, Ms. Compton.
No problem. Thank you.
Sure. Norma, can you let them know that L11 can go back?
Yes, ma'am.
Orlando Castagno.
Good morning, Judge. I'm here on an off docket matter. I wanted to confer with family violence in regards to a MTR bond.
All right. Do you have a cause number?
I do. It is 2015 CR 3984.
All right. I'm going to send you into breakout room number 2, and a prosecutor will meet you there.
Thanks.
All right, everyone, I'm going to take a 2-minute break. Tilden Schaefer?
Yes, Judge.
Yes.
I am waiting on paperwork still, Your Honor.
Okay, and who's doing your paperwork?
Meredith?
I am Judge. I'm almost.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Judge, I sent you a chat.
Thank you. So Norma, on his case, let's just place it at the end of the month.
Yes, ma'am.
And we'll put it on October 27th.
Yes, ma'am.
Scott Hill, you're back.
Yes, ma'am, I am. And let me change my name back the way you like it, unless you're good with right now.
Oh, no, we're fine. We are down to our probably last 2 to 3 attorneys.
Okay, Judge, I've just signed the paperwork. I think I've signed all of it. I just need to.
There's still a little bit more, Scott, sorry.
Oh, is there? Okay.
All right, and your client is in number 4, so I'll send you to number 4.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, thank you.
Judge, I just signed, this is Tilden. I just signed the plea paperwork. So I guess at some point I could go in a breakout room and start that.
Mr. Cordero, if you could go to breakout room number 1.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Judge, my allergies are getting me today.
Oh, I'm telling you, and you know, I think part of the problem is because we still don't have fall weather. It's probably 80 degrees, and it started out when I got up early this morning, it was already in the 70s.
This is perfect weather. Not too hot, not too cold.
No, everyone said that something is high. I can't imagine why cedar would be high this time of the year.
I heard it was mold.
Yeah. Well, we may have mold in the courtroom because the carpet was flooded and they didn't replace it. So that's possible. All right, who are the parties on Sebastian Cavallari?
It's Tim Molina for Mr. Cavallari.
Caitlin Wilkes for the state, Your Honor.
All right, and is the court reporter ready? Genevieve?
Yes,
Garcia?
ma'am.
All right, thanks. Court is calling 2016 CR 5468, State of Texas versus Sebastian Cavallari. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Caitlin Wilkes for the state.
For the defense?
Tim Molina for Mr. Cavallari. And if nobody has the ability to unmute him, he'll need to get somebody to do it.
Mr. Cavallari, are you able to hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. All right, Mr. Cavallari, if you look at the keyboard that's in front of you, the longest key, press that. The longest, just touch it and hold it down. Yes. Are you Mr. Cavallari? Hold the key down, Mr. Cavallari. Don't take your. All right, are you Mr. Cavallari?
Yes, I am.
All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Cavallari, I'm going to show you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video conference. Did you review that document with your attorney and did you understand it?
I did, and I understand.
All right, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video.
Are they saying the sheet card then when they talk to the
Defense, have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review that discovery with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
The court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Cavallari, I'm going to show you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, I did.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor. The state has an oral motion to first amend the spelling of the name of the defendant in the indictment to be C-A-V as in Victor, A-L-I-E-R-I.
Any objections?
No objection. That's the correct spelling.
And in addition, Your Honor, the state waives and abandons all counts except for 1 and 3. We're only going to proceed on counts 1 and 3.
Any objections?
No objection.
I have 2 weeks in August.
Mr. Cavallari?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
I believe I did.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, you say you believe you did. Did you go over the documents with your attorney that tell you what you're charged with and what your rights are?
Yes, yes, I
And did
did.
you sign those documents?
Yes, I did.
All right, what you're charged with is aggravated sexual assault of a child. That's a first-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 5 to 99 years or life in prison. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement, it gives you more than you bargained for. The fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
I understand.
You understand you have a right to jury trial, right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent.
Yes, I understand.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, I understand.
I just felt like.
And did you intend to give up your rights?
Put my little time in her hand.
Let's do it this way. Mr. Cavallari, do you understand you have a right to jury trial?
Oh, yes, I do.
All right, did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up that right?
Yes, yes.
Did you understand you have a right to remain silent?
Yes, I do.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up that right?
Yes.
Did you understand you have a right to have your attorney or yourself question any witnesses the state would bring against you in this case? Did you understand?
Yes, I do.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up that right?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do.
Do you believe he is currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do.
Mr. Cavallari, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. I'm going to show you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
I did.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on count 1 and 3. Your punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There are no applications. There's to be Chapter 62 compliance and registration. No contact with Katarina and Angela Merzel. Credit for time served in the Bexar County Jail and in Nevada. And that time in Nevada is calculated at 1,942 days. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is the agreement. I do want to clarify that the 1,942 days is his total credit from even including the Bexar County.
Okay, so that 1,942 days is the total amount of time that he spent in Bexar County Jail plus Nevada?
So who says it was me?
Correct. It's all the time since he was indicted in this matter.
All right.
And when he was indicted in this matter, he was in custody already in Nevada.
And she was like,
all right. And state, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Cavallari, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver of appeal. Did you review that document with it? Well, did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, I did.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, have there been any such motions? Then to the offense is charged in count 1, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
In count 3, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence to support the defendant's no contest plea?
State offers states 1 and attachments, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objection.
Mr. Cavalier, I'm going to show you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, I did.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same.
yeah. I don't have nothing. I just want to make sure, Jay, that this it's nothing, but I hope they don't miss the misdemeanor because I don't want to be making parole in 2 or 3 years. I gotta sign for some more time for a misdemeanor or something like that because I gotta find.
All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will find you guilty of count 1 and guilty of count 3. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
We would just ask the court to please honor the agreement. A lot's been factored in, including Mr. Cavalieri's age. The charges that he was in, Nevada for, were the same conduct with the same two people. And it was just because the outcry involved two different cities. He was indicted in both cities. There were potential speedy trial issues. Since his indictment was dated all the way back to 2016. So factoring it all in, we do think this is a fair resolution, and we would ask the court to follow the agreement.
All right, then this is what the court will do. The court will sentence you to 5 years in count 1, 5 years in count 3. Count 1 and count 3 were won concurrently. Chapter 62 compliance, no contact with Katarina and Angela Murzl, M-U-R-Z-L. Credit for any time served in Bexar County Jail in Nevada. The court will show that time calculated as 1,942 days. Is there anything else from either side with regards to sentencing?
No, Your Honor, for sentencing.
Mr. Cavalieri, if you could hold the space bar down again for me, please. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? You need to hold down the space bar, Mr. Cavalieri.
The long key, Sebastian.
Right, did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, yes.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yeah, yes.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes.
And this offense requires lifetime registration. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, with that, we will close the record. Is there victim impact?
There is, Your Honor. If there's no objection from defense, one of the victim impact statements will be read by the victim's mother, and the other victim impact statement will be given by the victim herself.
All right.
Any objections?
All right.
No, but I did not know there was victim impact. And so if I could just briefly explain to Sebastian what that is, but I just didn't know.
Yes, do you want to explain it to him now? Or would you like to go into a breakout room?
If I could go into a breakout room with him just to kind of prepare him for it, and then it won't take long for me to let him know. But I just didn't know.
All right, Mr. Cavalieri, if you could go to breakout room number 2. Ms. Ferguson, Mr. Cavalieri may need assistance going to breakout room number 2.
Yes, ma'am. I will call them right now.
All right, everyone, just give us a moment.
They're on their way, Judge.
You too. All right, Mr. Molina, you've had a chance to speak with Mr. Cavallari.
I have.
Okay.
Is there any objection to the reading of one of the impacts?
No.
All right, Mr. Cavallari, here's the thing. In the 187 District Court, I require that everyone treats everyone with respect. So just listen to what's being said and internalize it. And we'll be off the record, Ms. Garcia. All right, you may begin. Who's the first person? You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Valerie or Katrina, whichever one of you wants to go first, can begin speaking.
Valerie, if you can go first.
Valerie, you're on mute.
Yes.
Good morning. I'm Valerie Merzel. I'm Angela Merzel's mother. Angela is unable to do this, so she wrote the statement and asked if I would read it for her. Should I begin?
Yes.
Right now, I have a carton of milk, some eggs, and a few slices of bread in my fridge. That's it. Even though I need food, I have been living off of popcorn and tea for the past 2 weeks. This is normal for me. I usually wait until I really have to go to the grocery store. I go through phases where some months I don't want to leave my home because I am too anxious or paranoid of the world around me, and it shows. People assume that I'm just crazy because they don't understand what's happened to me. Simply going to the grocery store. Sorry. To provide myself with food is a hard task for me. Walking from my car into the store alone gives me anxiety. Passing by a man in those small grocery store aisles makes me shaky and sweaty. The male cashier making small talk with me gives me such a horrid anxiety. I stutter and become socially awkward, embarrassing myself. I am terrified of being alone. When I am alone, I am miserable because all I can think about are the years that have been stolen from me. When I am alone, I don't feel safe. When I am alone, I cannot make myself happy because this pedophile taught my brain my worth comes from other people's satisfaction. I've had one serious boyfriend, and one of the main reasons he broke up with me is because he had college in the early mornings and couldn't handle me waking up in cold sweats from nightmares every night. When I go out, I am constantly checking to see who is around me, to analyze them. And it gets to the point where I am not even present in reality anymore. People don't want to be around me. I don't have many friends. I am lonely. If a male is even slightly glancing at me in a way I don't like, I have to leave wherever I am, or I will have a panic attack because I am scared. I am scared of all the time, even if there is no rational reason to be. If I have to sit by a stranger on a plane who is a male, I am uncomfortable the whole flight. Being the only girl in an elevator makes me feel like I can't breathe. Sometimes I beat myself up because I know I am going to be too overprotective of my own children when I am older because I don't want them to get hurt like I was. I question if I would even be a good mom since I have so many mental health issues because of him. I question everything. It's exhausting. Living in Vegas as a girl is hard enough, but it's even harder when my brain won't shut up and all I can hear is the voice telling me I am only good if I look like the girls in porn. Sometimes it's so intense I refuse to take a shower in hopes I don't have to see my body. I'll go days without showering so I can avoid a mirror. I isolate myself in my home and don't go out because I feel too ugly. There are some days where I wake up and see myself in the mirror and can do nothing but cry because a seed has been planted in me that makes me question my own worth. People get annoyed with me when I don't want to eat because they don't understand depression. I try to avoid ever being alone with a man, even if it's something I need, like a doctor's appointment or interview for a job. I would rather stay sick and not get a job than have to be alone in a room with an older man. All of these things affect me either socially, emotionally, physically, academically, or financially. All of these things affect me because of the man who wants you to let him out. How is a person supposed to cope with not being able to function like a normal part of society? I could go on for hours telling you all the things I have to worry about or endure because of him. I don't even feel halfway satisfied now because I haven't even told you the half of it. Because of all these issues he has caused me, it has led to struggles with my relationships, friends, and families. Thanks to science, we know children who endure sexual abuse undergo physical chemical changes in the brain. It is a known fact in psychology that when a child goes through sexual trauma, there is a decrease in the volume of their prefrontal cortex and an increase in activity in the amygdala. It literally changes a person's brain chemistry. This is permanent evidence that childhood sexual abuse causes lifelong issues. These parts of the brains are in charge of balancing my emotions, how I perceive things, and determining my reactions to those emotions. This is a critical part of my brain that determines how my relationships and life in general will pan out. That perfectly explains my reaction to dealing with all of this. Coping mechanisms are not normal, healthy ones. Over the past year, I have been in and out of hospitals multiple times related to suicidal attempts and drug or alcohol abuse. I have struggled with staying sober this past year. Drugs and alcohol seem to be the only thing that make me feel better and take my trauma off my mind. I have been dropped off at my mom's house completely unconscious and then taken to the hospital in an ambulance. Most of the time, I only feel okay when I am under the influence. My anxiety, depression, and paranoia have become so intense that substances are the only thing that relieve the pain and suffering. Being happy while I am sober is another mountain I must climb thanks to this monster. These problems are deep. These problems consist of flawed perceptions, incorrect beliefs, and harmful thinking patterns. These are not things that can change by choice overnight, no matter how badly I want them to. These issues have already controlled my life for 15 years. I am now 23 years old, and I still can't go to the grocery store. I have barely any friends. I don't have a job because of my anxiety and fears. My emotions are so intense, I couldn't handle being in college. It's been 15 years and I am not even halfway into the healing process. I have suffered 15 years and will continue to suffer for the rest of my life because of him. I will need years and years more of therapy. He got to live 70 plus years of free man. He got to travel and live and do all while being happy and worry free. He does not deserve to be out of prison. He should have done what he was supposed to when I was a little girl and he was a trusted family friend. Lacking any sense of remorse, his words from the last court in Las Vegas will now be mine. My family and my God know the truth. I was sexually abused for years and I have to deal with it every single day for the rest of my life. Now the question is, will he ever have any remorse for what he's done to me and my sister? The end.
Is there
Thank you,
another
Valerie.
victim impact?
Yes, Your Honor, you may begin.
Thank you. My name is Katerina. I'm just going to read from what I wrote. Do you think I want to be here this morning? No, I am literally stepping out of work to miss part of my job this morning to do things like this. And I've had to do this over the last few years whenever anything came up for this process. Sorry.
Take your time.
The reason we're here today is because of all the horrible things that were done to both myself and my sister. Things that I didn't want to talk about and didn't talk about for 20 something years, but eventually did. I kept everything to myself, and I forever will have regrets and guilt because of that. Knowing now that the things that happened to my sister, my younger sister, I have extreme guilt because I never spoke up when I was younger. And in my mind, I believe that had maybe I spoken up, maybe something wouldn't have happened to her and wouldn't have led to all those things that she deals with now on an everyday basis. And for the last 10 plus years, I've had to watch her deal with her self-esteem and her confidence and her trust, and things that are extremely difficult to watch from an older sister's perspective. And I wake up every day knowing that maybe if I would have said something about what this monster did to me and the things I experienced earlier on, that maybe it would have stopped something from happening to her. And growing up, our parents had a lot of friends, close friends, family friends, and you build relationships with those people. You spend time with them for holidays, and you grow up into a teenager and a young adult. And Jackie and him were two of those people for our family. They were close family friends, and I trusted them. And although I never spoke about what happened for nearly 15 years, I never forgot those moments because they were wrong, because they were uncomfortable, because I was a child sitting on my parents' couch at home and being touched by a grown-up and not understanding what was happening, and visiting them in Texas for a week for my summer vacation and not understanding why this was happening. I was old enough to understand that it wasn't right and that that's not what adults are supposed to do to children. And now at 29, I'm strong enough and I've learned how to find confidence in myself a lot more, luckily, than my little sister. She's still working on that. And it's taken my own suicidal thoughts and ideation and depression and anxiety and extreme trust issues in all my relationships, friendships ending, withdrawing from everything that I love, and now 3 years of therapy to become who I am today. And I've lost a lot of friendships along the way and relationships along the way, and even parts of myself along the way, all because of what he did to me. And when you experience this type of trauma in your life, especially when it's a secret for so long and you're holding on to it, when I eventually spoke up about things, there was a lot of shame
Sorry,
Um,
excuse me, something has happened on his end. We're gonna see if we can get him back. So there's been some issues at the jail, so if we can just see if we can get him back and we'll continue, okay?
Okay.
All right, Norma, can you check to see if there is an issue at the jail with his connection?
Yes, ma'am, I'll call right away.
All right, everyone, just give us a moment, please.
He probably disconnected himself on purpose.
All right, while we're waiting for that reconnection, are the parties ready on Richard Velasquez?
Yes, Judge.
All right, who's the prosecutor on this?
That's Marcus, Judge.
All right, where is Marcus? Marcus Sanders?
The defendant's back on that matter, Your Honor, if we want to close that up real quickly.
Okay, I'll send you all to a breakout room. I'll send you all to number 1. And Mr. Molina, if you could go to breakout room number 1, please. And Norma, can you have the jail place Mr. Cavallari in number 1, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And Mr. Molina, if you could go to number 1, please. All right, is the court reporter here, Ms. Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 9285W, State of Texas versus Richard Velasquez. Can I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state,
Marcus Sanders.
for the defense?
Scott Hill.
And are you Richard Velasquez?
Yes.
All right, we're going to go off the record for a moment. Ms. Wilkes, I've sent you to breakout room number 1. All right, we're back on the record. We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No objection.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
And everyone, just one moment. Deputy Mejia, could you go to breakout room number 1, please? All right, back on the record. Mr. Velasquez, I'm going to show you what's entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video Conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm going to show you what's entitled Application for Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, I'm going to show you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Velasquez, I'm going to show you a document entitled Waiver of Indictment, Reading of Information and Rights under Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did
Yes,
you
ma'am.
electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that you have a right to have a grand jury hear the evidence in this case and make a decision on whether or not to indict you and hold this case over for trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand your attorney has certain rights, namely 2 days from the presentation of the information and 10 days from the presentation of the information to prepare for trial? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived indictment, reading of information, and rights under Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Next, I'm going to show you the document entitled Information. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the information?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the information as presented?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Velasquez, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand what you're charged with is fraudulent use or possession of identifying information less than 5 items at the state jail felony? The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Velasquez, did you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Your Honor, I believe he does.
Do you believe he's currently competent, was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Velasquez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
Okay.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, off the record for a moment. Tim Molina, I need you in breakout room number 1, please.
Okay.
And Deputy Mejia, if you could stay in number 1 until they've completed that, please. Or have they completed everything in number 1, Mr. Molina?
You mean the victim impact?
Yes.
It's done.
All right, thank you.
I don't even know where he ended up. They put him, Caitlin took him out of the breakout room, but I don't see him here in the main room. So maybe if they could call the jail again and just let him know he's done.
All right, Ms.
The jail's calling me.
Let him know he's done, please.
Thank you.
Maybe excuse Judge?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Ms. Garcia. Where did I leave off, please?
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes. Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented, Mr. Velasquez?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. I'm showing you what's entitled plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishments be assessed at 2 years in the state jail facility. There's a $1,000 fine. There's no application for deferred adjudication. The state recommends community supervision. They will take in consideration NIMAC number 629912, JN20368676, restitution to David Balderas, Mandy, M-A-N-D-Y, Smith, Ruben Rodriguez, Carlos Sacristi, S-A-C-R-I-S-T-E, Jorge Martinez, Michael Williams, Jorica, J-O-E-R-I-C-A, Garcia, Rachel Gooden, Lisa Flores, Berhan, Berhane, Testa Miriam, Testamaram, Zulima, Zuelima, Garia, Garia, Brandon Verse, Verse, Andrea, Andrea, Calderon. Did you understand that to be the agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, I'm sorry, there's a few more that wouldn't fit, so I'll put them at the bottom.
All right. Alexander Escamilla, America, America, Pena, Jessica Belanger, Belanger, Howell, Howell, Elizabeth Wright, Wright, Lawrence Scott, Elvira Eilers, Eilers, and Paul Davis. Did you understand that to be the entirety of the plea bargain agreement, Mr. Velasquez?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 4 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation, 120 hours of community service restitution, and no contact with the same witnesses or complainants for restitution. Did you understand? I'm sorry, in CATS 1 and 2, did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense as charged in the information, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's no contest plea.
Yes, the state offers states Exhibit 1 and its attachments.
Any
No
objection?
objection. No objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Velasquez, I'm going to show you what's entitled Waiving Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. Thank you. All right, after reviewing states Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, he has always wanted, since I first saw him when I got appointed to him, Judge, he's always wanted to step up to the plate and take responsibility for his actions. He's wanted to plea out as fast as possible and get on probation and start doing the right thing, Judge. So we just asked the court that you'd follow the plea bargain agreement and give the defendant probation.
And Mr. Velasquez, why are you stealing? Why are you taking what doesn't belong to you, using people's credit cards?
It's just, it was hard out there. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to be out on the streets and be homeless and not eat.
So how about getting a job? How about picking up cans? How about going to the food bank, San Antonio Food Bank? They don't charge people for food when they come in and asking for it. How about going to the shelter? How about going to For Haven for Hope? Taxpayers' monies pay for all of that. And your thing was, let me steal.
I know I was wrong for that. I'm going to make the right decision. I have a family to take care of me.
How old are you?
34.
I'm sorry, how old?
34.
And how old are your children?
11 and 8.
So that means that they were in existence when you were stealing. So where were they living?
Well, they stay with their grandparents.
Okay, and they're staying with their grandparents because their mother and their father is not taking care of them. So the question becomes, was Child Protective Services involved?
No, ma'am.
So you all just dropped your children off with the grandparents and said, we're not raising them. And so now the grandparents have to be parents because you and whomever you with want to have children and not take care of them financially, mentally, and emotionally.
Yeah, I understand, ma'am.
So are you using any drugs?
No, ma'am.
Then how did you become homeless? Because I find it mighty strange that grandparents would not let children live with them if they had been working all of their lives and just all of a sudden hit on hard times. Well,
I understand, and it's just been hard. It's been hard. So
that, I mean, you're saying words, but they make no sense. It's been hard for everybody, but guess what? You don't have a bunch of people running around stealing, identifying information from people.
I understand. Yes.
When have you ever had a job?
I've had plenty of jobs.
When's the last time you worked?
It's been a couple of years.
So you're telling me it's been hard for you for a couple of years, or has your job been taking things that don't belong to you?
Something like that.
So that's been your job. Okay. Where are you planning on living?
I talked to this lady for Haven for Hope a couple of days ago, and that's probably where I'm headed.
So have your parental rights been terminated?
No, ma'am. They're like legally not my kids, but I've been with my girlfriend.
So why are you pretending like these children are yours biologically when they're not?
Well, I consider them my kids. I've been with them for 5-6 years.
Well, technically, they're not your children because you're not providing any support for them. They're just two young people that you use and you pull them out for sympathy points. This is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility, suspended and probated for 4 years. There's a $1,000 fine that will not be probated. Take in consideration NIMAG number 629912, JN2036876, restitution plus no contact with David Valderas, Mandy Smith, Ruben Rodriguez, Carlos Sacristi, Jorge Martinez, Michael Williams, Jorica Garcia, Rachel Gooden, Lisa Flores, Farhan Testamarian, Zulema Garcia, Brandon Verse, Andrea Calderon, Alexander Escamilla, America Pena, Jessica Ballinger Howell, and that's Howell, Elizabeth Wright, Lawrence Scott, Elvira Ehlers, Paul Davis, Cats 1 and 2, 120 hours of community service restitution, 40 hours will be waived if you obtain the COVID vaccine. The court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccine, but if you do, then 40 hours will be deducted. There's to be no contact with Yvette, Yvette, Figueroa, Figueroa.
Judge, that's his wife.
I know. His wife with children that he's not taking care of, and he's making a bad example for by stealing people's documents. He's saying that those are his stepchildren. So yeah, there's to be no contact because it appears that you all just steal together for a living. So until you show me something as far as this Cats 1 and Cats 2, there's to be no contact. And here's the thing, Mr. Velasquez, you don't have a place to stay. She don't have a place to stay. I don't need two people living on the street. You know what? This is what we're gonna do. Thank you for dapping it. No, I appreciate it.
I don't know what he was doing.
Norma, who is that in the with Mr. Velasquez?
Hey, can somebody come help me? Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Norma, can you have the other inmate who's near Mr. Velasquez? Tell them he needs to be removed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can you unmute yourself, Mr. Velasquez? Just press the space bar.
I'm on live right now.
All right, Mr. Velasquez, there's to be no contact with the vet Figueroa. There's going to be regular Zoom reporting or in person.
Oh, wait, yeah, hold on. Can you just
Proof of employment within 30 days. And for me, that's full-time employment. So you're gonna have to work at least 40 hours a week. And that 40 hours will be, if you need to get 2 part-time jobs to make that happen, then do that. But I'm gonna require at least 40 hours a week. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider with minors or any employment that places you in a fiduciary capacity. So that means you can't clean houses or anything of that nature. I'm going to want field visits 2 times per month, random. Rebecca, is there anything else that Mr. Velasquez needs?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Velasquez, is there anything else you need from this court in order to be successful? You can press down the space bar. Anything else you need in order to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Velasquez, I'm going to send you and your attorney to a breakout room. Mr. Hill, if you could remain in that breakout room with your client until probation shows. We have one more case that probation needs to hear before I send her to the breakout room. I'm going to send you both to breakout room number 2. Court is calling 2021 CR 7771, State of Texas versus Christian Cordero. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Meredith McIntyre for the state.
for the defense?
Tilden Schaefer for Mr. Cordero. Good
And are you
morning.
Mr. Cordero? You need to unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Cordero, I'm showing you what's entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Cordero, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cordero, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with burglary of a habitation? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any, I'm sorry, just one moment. I'm getting a lot of feedback on my end. Mr. Cordero,
Yes,
do
ma'am.
you understand if the court grants your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication is revoked, the court could find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cordero, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. I'm showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, there's a $1,000 fine probated. State recommends deferred adjudication. Taking consideration JN 1974481, there's to be no contact with Jose Garcia, Johnny, JOHNNY, Alonzo, and Joshua Reyes. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver Repeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. The state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 5 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 120 hours of community service restitution, intensive outpatient treatment, the theft course, and obtain a high school diploma or GED if applicable. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Enter the indictment. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea.
State offers State's Exhibit 1 attachment.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Cordero, I'm going to show you what's entitled Waiving Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. The court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor, we'll waive PSR.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, my client is young. He's got a bit of a record, but I just think this is a good opportunity for him to get grounded. I think, one thing we take for granted is diplomas and GEDs, and he doesn't have either one. And I think that's kind of a good start for him. I've spoken to his family. His mother is very concerned and involved. And I just think it's time for this young man to grow up. I'd ask you to follow the plea agreement.
All right, Mr. Cordero, how old are you?
19.
Why are you giving your mom heartache and worry?
Honestly, I was just being stupid.
No. I mean, you made a decision to kick in somebody's door. And you know what happens when you kick in doors in Texas of people's homes and you're burglarizing it?
Yes, ma'am.
You're probably going to end up getting shot. So why are you kicking in doors in Texas, or for that matter, anywhere?
I made a foolish decision. I wasn't thinking at the time. I take responsibility for what I did. I'm not trying to make any excuses. I didn't do that. I regret doing that. It was just stupid of me to do that.
No, I mean, you made a decision. You made choices. So where were you living at the time this happened?
I was living with my mom.
I'm sorry, what?
I was living with my mom, but I wasn't staying with my mom for like 2-3 weeks.
Why?
We just weren't getting along at the moment.
Why were you not getting along with your mom?
Or just disagreements and little stuff like that. Nothing.
Disagreement on what?
Just like a lot of stuff. How to say it, just a lot of stuff. We didn't agree on a lot of stuff.
Okay, Mr. Cordero, you're saying a lot of words, but you're not telling me anything. So let's unpack the suitcase. When's the last time you used drugs?
I don't, like 4 months ago before I came in here.
All right, and what drugs were you using?
Just marijuana.
And what else?
That's it.
Here's the thing, Mr. Cordero, I'm trying to set conditions for you where you can be successful. So if you're using more than marijuana, you need to let me know so that I can figure out what treatment to give you. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So what are the drugs that you've tried?
I've been just using marijuana. I don't do any other drugs.
Why didn't you graduate from high school?
I was in and out of juvenile a lot of times. I kept having to re-enroll in high school, and it got to the point where I just basically said, screw it. I just stopped going.
So does his mom want him living with her? Does anyone know?
I believe so. Honestly, my memory is yes, she would take him back in, but he's going to have to follow the rules.
All right. Does anyone know the address?
For his mother?
Yes.
I know it.
All right. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to have it announced on the live stream, but I'm putting in here as defendant is to reside with You're gonna reside with your mom.
Yes, ma'am. What would it mean by
We're gonna do GPS, waive fees, or place him on deferred or indigent status. You're gonna have a curfew of 6 p.m. There is to be, I'm sorry, this is the court's entire sentence. 5 years deferred adjudication, $1,000 fine probated. Taking into consideration JN 1974481, no contact with Jose Garcia, Johnny Alonso, Joshua Reyes, 120 hours community service restitution. 40 of those will be waived if you obtain the COVID vaccine. The court is not requiring you to get the vaccine. However, if you do, 40 hours will be deducted. Theft course, defendant is to reside with his mother. There's to be GPS, waive fees, or placed on indigent status. He has a curfew of 6 p.m. There's to be regular Zoom reporting or in person. You are to obtain your GED or some higher level of education or trade school. And if you obtain that, the remaining hours of your community service will be waived. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. I'm going to want field visits, random, 3 times per month. I'm going to want regular UAs. And Rebecca, if you could have him tested for levels. Rebecca, is there anything else he needs?
Are we gonna hold off on the intensive outpatient?
Yes, let's see how he does. And then if he tests positive or levels increase, then we'll start with intensive outpatient treatment. Mr. Cordero, is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, ma'am, but I do have a question.
Yes.
What do you mean GPS? Like, will I have to be on GPS, like no probation?
Oh, yeah, you're gonna be on GPS until further notice.
Is that like the ankle monitor thing?
Yes.
And do I have to wait for like a TAP evaluation to get out of here?
No, you're not gonna be released until you get that GPS on.
Okay, all right.
I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Cordero, you're starting off on the wrong foot in what we call the journey of life. Where you are now doesn't necessarily mean this is where you're going to end up. You're going to have to change your ways. Other 1 or 2 things going to end up happening. You may end up being dead because you may continue to want to kick in people's doors, or you may end up in prison. You're at an age where you still have more of your life in front of you than behind you. When you go to your mom's house, guess what? You follow her rules. You know why? Because you don't have a place of your own. You get a place of your own, you can do whatever you want to do inside your house. That's why you have that curfew. Do you understand? And when your mom tells you to wash dishes, clean trash, rake the leaves, you need to do that. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. Probation will go over conditions with you.
Yes, ma'am.
And Rebecca, you can go to breakout room number 2.
And Judge,
Yes.
just to be clear, since you're allowing him to work, this would be partial GPS.
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure that was, if I could
Sure.
go to the breakout room as well, Judge.
All right, I'll send you to the breakout room. And Mr. Schaefer,
Yes, Your Honor.
educate him on the correct ways of the world. I know you will.
That's where I'm going, Judge.
All right, I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Judge.
You're
Have a
welcome.
good day.
Thank you, you too. And Rebecca, I sent you to number 2.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Orlando Castellano and Derek Fennell.
Yes, Judge. I was conferring with Michelle Hayden.
Okay. To the clerks, could I have Case number 2015 CR 3984. It's off docket. And then Mr. Froelich, I know you have your motion. Have you filed that?
Yes, Your Honor, you have a file stamp copy.
Okay, can you put in the chat box which case that's on so I can have it, the clerks bring it to me, please?
Of course. You want the name of the, okay, got it.
Yes. And then I'll also need, I'm going to write down this. I need this cause number. And defense says they filed a motion for me. And it's an ex parte motion.
Means don't tell Michelle Hayden about it.
Okay, and then on Derek Fennell, you're asking for a bond?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right, let me see. Orlando in breakout room number 1. Michelle, if you can go to number 1. And then Andrew, I'll send you to number 1 as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And Norma, do you know the update on? Oh, no, I see we've completed it. Okay, everyone just give me a moment. All right, is everyone here? Let's see. All right, everyone, we are done for our, where's Meredith? Yeah. Norma, are you there?
Yes, Judge.
All right, guys, we are done for this week, and we will be back on Monday at 9 a.m. I guess I should shock everybody, Marcus, since we have new people, and say we'll be back at 7 a.m. All right. So,
The real shock, Your Honor, would be if you decided to bring trials back before January, like you had initially
oh,
said.
I will bring that. We are going to have trials. All right. So I'm going to stop live stream, and we will be back on Monday at 7 a.m. See, has the shock lifted? No, we'll be back on Monday at 9 a.m. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Remember, social distance, wear your mask, stay safe.